Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bible study. I hope you're having a great day today. And today we'll start a new series. We're going to call this one a Bible study on the miracles of Jesus. And, before we get started, I want you to think back about a time or a time in your life where, and maybe it's happening now, of Jesus providing you with a miracle. To me, I think the greatest miracle that has happened in my life and a lot of my friends' life is the miracle of salvation. So I've put together here a few notes to look at. This is the miracle of salvation and why I think it's the most important miracle that God has ever provided for us. It's often referred as the new birth or the justification, and it's considered the supreme miracle because it's an ongoing daily act of grace. It's a heart transformation. It involves changing a heart of stone into a heart of flesh. I know that certainly happened to me, and turning a sinner into a child of God. This has eternal significance. Unlike physical miracles like healing and parting the Red Sea and everything, this eventually will expire because the person still dies if it's a healing miracle. The miracle of salvation lasts for eternity, and it costs God the most. While parting the Red Sea cost God nothing, a salvation was brought with the death of his son, making it the most costly miracle. For the purposes of our Bible study and keeping it in the context of a sort of a short 3 to 5 minute daily devotional, here's some miracles that Jesus performed while he was on earth that we're going to be taking a look at. Today, we're going to take a look at Jesus's power over nature and how Jesus, as a creator, has authority over all physical laws. If you make something, if you invent something, you have power over that then. And we're going to be taking a look at two verses today, and then we'll talk about the healing of the sick that Jesus did, the exorcisms that displayed Jesus's absolute victory over evil and spiritual oppression, and then we'll talk about how Jesus raised people from the dead. So to get started, I think what we'll do is we're going to get started right in these verses right here. This is Mark 4, and we're going to be in Mark 4, 35 through 41. If you want to turn to your Bibles, I'll read it aloud. It says, "That day when evening came, he said to his disciples, 'Let us go over to the other side.'" He's talking about the Sea of Galilee. Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along just as he was in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat, over the bow of the boat, so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. The disciples woke him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drowned?" He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down and it was completely calm. Man, that's just powerful to me. He said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" They were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." This points to Jesus' divine authority, and his ability to command the wind and the waves highlights his divinity and his power over creation. And it speaks also about fear versus faith. The disciples' panics revealed that, their lack of trust in Jesus' power, prompting the lesson that faith in him should overcome the fear of circumstances. And, it talks a lot about the presence, our presence in times of a storm. The story serves as a metaphor that, is navigating life's challenges. Having Jesus in the boat with us does not guarantee an easy journey, but it will ensure a safe passage. Let's take a look at a few more verses of Jesus' command over nature. And this is where Jesus walks on the water. And this is going to be in Matthew 14, verses 22 through 33. Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him onto the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he dismissed them, he went into the mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It is a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it is you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and he began to sink, and he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why do you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down, and those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Man, that's just powerful stuff right there. Matthew 14:22 through 33 highlights Jesus, again, his divinity and his power over nature, and the call to trust him amid life's storms. By walking on the water and calming the wind and rescuing Peter, Jesus teaches the disciples, and you are the readers today, to overcome fear with faith. And, it really does show his mastery over nature. And again, it challenges our fear versus faith. The storm represents the trials, and Jesus presents, even in a storm, it's meant to bring comfort. This passage challenges the readers to focus on Jesus rather than the obstacles around him. And what are those obstacles today? The world, mostly, and troubles, that just the daily strife. And step out into the boat, Jesus says. And this is commonly interpreted that it urges Christians to leave their comfort zones, which is the boat, and follow Jesus even when it seems impossible. So we're going to do more study on the miracles of Jesus as we come up here in this 4-part series, and I'm really looking forward to it. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll talk tomorrow.